After taking some photographs, this group of friends captured something they can't explain. They had this to say. This picture was taken a couple of years ago at a friend's relative's house. The guy in the picture to the left is me. A couple of years ago, myself and 5 other friends got together and spent the night at one of our houses. Everything was fine and we spent most of the night playing video games and watching YouTube videos. After this, some of us decided to go to bed. 2 of my friends went to sleep and 3 of us couldn't sleep, so we ended up sitting around a lamp. At around 2 AM we started talking about ghosts and encounters that we've all had. Eventually, one of my friends sitting in front of me decided to take some pictures. I kept my eyes on what he was doing to see how many he would take, but he only took around 3. I was looking down in the photo here because I didn't want the flash to hurt my eyes. When I looked up, he took 1 more and moved his phone down so we could see them. The first picture was fine and the second was fine at first, and the third had nothing, so he scrolled back over the second, which is the one this post is about. My friend who took the picture is a comedic type of guy who's always laughing and telling jokes. The way he reacted, however, was something I've never seen from him in the 4 or 5 years I've known him. He dropped his phone and backed away, tapping my shoulder. He pointed at his phone and told me to look. Both me and the other friends saw the photo and we couldn't believe what had just happened. Our first thought was that it was a joke or Photoshop of some kind. However, after trying to figure it out, we couldn't, and that's when we decided we should leave. We all headed out and tried to figure out what was in the picture. My friend who took it claimed it was real and that he had not tampered with it in any way, and I saw him the entire time, even when he reviewed the pictures. This picture to me is real and I believe it was not tampered with in any way. How could my friend have photoshopped something in 1 or 2 seconds? None of us were wearing clothes like that either, and I don't think this was an image on the lamp. There was no reflections in the room either. There is a window around 5 to 7 feet to my left, and it's near the ceiling, so I don't think anything was being reflected outside. In my rush to get the picture from my friend, instead of waiting until he calmed down, I took a picture of the image on his phone, hence the brownish lines on the side, and I'm glad he did, as he later deleted it. I have no idea what this could have been. I should start by saying I've never had anything paranormal happen to me. The only experience I had was the time where I lived in an old house in upstate New York. My mum and I heard footsteps going up and down the basement stairs. We called the cops and no one was in the basement. However, recently something else happened. I live in Brooklyn. My car needed an inspection, so I went to a shop in Red Hook. I walk up the street to a bench to wait out my car inspection, and during this I decided to call my aunt. I noticed that Greenwood Cemetery is right up the street. Greenwood is a huge cemetery and also home to the location of the Battle of Brooklyn. It was the number 2 most visited nature site in the 1800s, and the turn of the century second only to Niagara Falls. I've always wanted to go there as it's beautiful and used as a public park. The guy calls me back about the car and told me it will be ready in 2 hours, so I decided I would go and visit the cemetery. I walked around speaking to my aunt on the phone for around half an hour, and marvelling at how beautiful the cemetery is. As the end of my 2-3 hours wind down, I decided to get up from the bench. I started complaining about how steep the hills are, and she makes a joke about me not getting locked in, and making sure the gates are still open. She said this because this actually happened to someone she knew in the same cemetery. Suddenly, out of nowhere, I hear someone telling me to shush. Immediately after, hundreds of distorted voices start speaking at the same time. I couldn't make any of them out. To say I was confused is an understatement. This happened while I was on the phone and me and my aunt could not hear each other. All we could hear was the distorted voices, and every so often we would hear someone saying shush. I listened for a long time thinking maybe it's cell phone interference. There were so many voices at the same time and they were all so distorted, and they also sounded unearthly. I don't think this was cell interference. I listened for at least 2 minutes just trying to understand at least one voice, but to no avail. I'm a pretty big skeptic, but this was something I couldn't explain. It's something that's rattled me pretty badly. While driving on a haunted road, these people encountered something they couldn't explain. They said the following. There's a haunted road in South Bend, Indiana called Primrose. It's one of those places that kids go to spend the evening. Between the ages of 15 and 19, I'd actually been there several times, and never saw anything out of the ordinary. However, on maybe the 5th or 6th, I saw something I couldn't explain. To give you an idea, Primrose Road itself is just a few minutes off the toll road that stretches through Indiana towards Chicago. It's in a strange area that is partially industrial and old neighborhoods. The rest is just thick woods and the occasional old farmhouse in between. When driving here, there's a little street with a few houses along to the left but nothing but trees to the right. If you keep going straight, you leave the main road and end up on Primrose itself. It's a dark road that curves around and is surrounded by the forest. It was just me and my friend Ashley on this particular night. I believe I was 18 or 19 at the time. During this visit though, something felt different. From the moment our car left the main road and entered the darkness, I felt a strange feeling. It's difficult to put into words, but imagine the feeling you get in your chest when you're in a true moment of panic. I felt that very feeling of absolute terror physically within my entire body. It's almost like my bones are vibrating, and even though we didn't speak about it, I could tell by looking at Ashley she was feeling something similar. Driving down the entire road probably takes around 5 or 10 minutes, and surprisingly we made it all the way to the end without seeing anything out of the ordinary. It was very dark, but our headlights were giving us a clear view of what was in front of us. When we got to where the street ends, we decided to turn around. I don't know why, but we both felt like there had to be something back there that we missed, so we headed back in the other direction. While doing so, we noticed that a deer's body had been torn to pieces. What also threw us off was the fact this deer was very large. We didn't hear or see anything behind us as we drove down the first time, and our windows were open the entire time. Not more than 5 minutes could have passed between the first time we passed through and the moment we found the deer. Something had to have come through and left its body where they knew we'd find it. I think the terrors made my memory a little bit foggy, but I do remember screaming and driving in reverse the whole way back. We made it home safely and never saw any trace of what could have been out there that night. This person had a strange encounter with a mysterious creature. They said the following. When I was around 8 years old, my family and I was coming home from a Christmas night show. During this event though, we encountered something we couldn't explain. We witnessed what appeared to be a large black creature run in front of us. It had wings and was completely black except from its bright red eyes. It stood there for around a minute and ran fast into the woods. Fast forward a few months later, and in that same spot we saw the creature, there was an accident involving 3 cars. I'm still haunted by this because we were there when the crash happened. It's almost like it was warning us of something. This person is looking for answers for what this creature could have been. While trying to get to sleep, this person encounters something unexplained. They had this to say. Ever since I was little, I've always been able to sense things. And I say things because I'm not certain of what they are. I have encountered evil spirits and good spirits before, but recently something odd happened. Usually when I have these encounters, I'm asleep and then I'll wake up. There have been a few times when I'm sleeping and I just sit up from my bed and yell go away, but I don't remember until the morning. Recently though, I had a strange encounter. I woke up in the middle of the night because I was unusually hot. This is odd because it was a cold night, but I woke up drenched in my sweat from head to toe. I decided to remove my blankets and just leave my bedsheet. With my right arm I pulled the blankets off me to the right of the bed, and left my arm just dangling on the corner. However, around 2 seconds later I felt a stroke on my forearm down to my hand. I was so scared. I felt like I couldn't go back to sleep, so I just stayed on my phone. But the thing is, I was scared because I had an encounter, and not because the spirit felt evil. As I think more about it, I feel my heart became heavier. Also, I feel my hand hurting where it was touched. This person is looking for answers for what this could have been. So what do you guys make of these stories? And have any of you witnessed anything similar? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.